3, 2, 1. And we're off to the races. It's Monday. Well, I'd say it's Tuesday, 12:22 a.m. Eastern Time, which is about 7 o'clock here in Hawaii. So today's market update is going to include, of course, gold, silver, and the gold stocks and so forth. We have a really overextended Dow Jones, S&P 500, NASDAQ 100 with a gap here. I'm kind of a perma bear, so that looks bearish to me. Although I've learned many of my lessons being too bearish. There's the VIX, which is a volatility index, starting to have a little bit of move to the upwards. Crude oil, $64. West Texas crude, 60. Heating oil, gold and silver. These are the daily charts. Okay, we've had our pullback and everything is sort of churning. You'll see in the future charts on Thinkorswim that this is the volume point of control area. So this is where the buyers and sellers are battling it out. Same thing for platinum and also palladium, the precious metals. And then you've got the grains. Jack mentioned wheat here the other day, and looks like it's doing good. There's an ETF that is like $4. Cocoa looks interesting. I don't do a lot of this commodity stuff, but this is a good page to look at. This is the finviz.com/futures chart. It's a button on their front page. Then we look at the treasuries, 30-year, 10-year, 5-year, and no comment on that. I think interest rates are going to fight to go up, but they're trying to hold them down. The currencies are all low. The dollar is strong, which is a little negative for gold. And then you have at the bottom of this page the New Zealand, Australia, Swiss. So the dollar is getting strong, which means there's money flowing into the country. So we may be the bastion of safety here in the dollars, or in the US dollar. Ross Clark likes it, sees it as a safe trade. So I want to go here to the screener right there. And under industry, I'm going to type gold. G, and G brings me down to gold on my desktop. And we'll take a look at what's happened. So we have the big loser today, CDE, TRX, the usual suspects. I'm in some of these companies. So what I like to do is take a look at the charts. And these are the stocks that have broken down from the consolidation area. Coeur d'Alene or Core Mining is buying new gold, and the market doesn't like it. TRX, I never thought it would be pulling back this far, pulling back into some buy territory. PZG, another small one. IAUX, I'm was up 40-50% in this one. I was buying, down in here somewhere. I'm still holding it, not a big position. And we have BTG. I'm in that one, a couple thousand shares, so I'm getting hurt. But I'll hang on. It's not a big position. So Nova Gold's holding steady. But what I'm getting at is any of these companies, these charts are getting to be broken. And regardless of the price of gold and silver, stocks like this are very emotional and get speculative. Here's one of the lower cap, 21 million market cap. It's tiny and, not quite halved. So these are what we would call the junior stocks. And the various charts. This is New Gold being bought out by Core. I was talking to Jack earlier today, and I was showing on my FinViz account under AK Trader the portfolios show portfolios from 10 years ago, and all the names in the gold industry that have just disappeared, gotten bought out or merged with. So the charts are getting a little more tame. It's less, there's less damage as we proceed ascending through the gainers. And you see little things like this are good signs when you see them pop up like that. You can look at these yourself. So at the top of the list, we've got nothingness BGL. This was a complete scam. You can now see it. I saw this thing come public and watch it do this crazy thing, and it only had 2 employees. I was like, what the heck? Anyway, anything else here? Yeah, let's take a look at the relative strength of the of this particular group of stocks. So we go to the technical, and the RSI is here, the relative strength. And so the lowest relative strengths are the ones to look at buying, and the highest ones when they get up about 70 or 80. Now these two are getting to the point where they're quite oversold. RSIs are down around 30. This is about where things stop, here in the 30s. This is probably a good sign that this main group, we almost have a whole page of these stocks. So let's look at the charts and see what they look like ordered in their RSI. All right, worst, BTG worst. You know, most of these are the ones we saw that had sort of the higher of the lower changed for today. If we change that to relative strength descending, and we look at the stocks that are the strongest at the top, and we can see those companies. And you obviously want to stick with relative strength. You can see the trend is holding, the channels are holding, the uptrends are you know, all nice and arranged, if you will, or 45-degree angles. You know. Anyway, so these are the gold stocks on FinViz under Screener. So we'll jump from here to the GDX on a 4-hour, 360 days. And that is about a year, I guess. Let's see, this goes back to July of 24, so a little more than a year. And we've got this situation here where our 4-hour TSI is really, really sagging. And I did manage to make a trade off of this particular low. And I'm now out of all these stocks, except for a little JNUG that's in my other account, kind of for tracking purposes, see how bad it can really get. But the 4-hour is actually starting to cross downwards. Let's just try to zoom in on this. And I really apologize for the clustering of all these charts and ABC's targets here. Second section, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'm back, and again we're looking at GDXJ with what looks to me like this is rolling over based on the TSI. So I want to wait till I see the RSI on the 4-hour get below 30 before I'm going to buy this, probably in a big way, once we wash out completely. GDX, you know, same thing. This week, 4-hour true strength index with my unique settings is definitely going to be hurting. Let's see. Let's go just 1 year daily, and we'll see what's taken place over each of these bars being a day. So we have a major cross here, and the TSI gave a darn good signal right here, and this is about where I sold out. I probably could have waited the next day and made several thousands more, but so it is. And if we zoom in on this, This is Eastern time overnight session. No, it's not. Excuse me. This is the day, Monday actually, 11/3. And there's a cluster of targets in here if we're looking close. Based on the 4-hour TSI, this is rolling over. It's bound to test down here, 68, and potentially go beyond us. That's silver crossing 47.50. My alert on silver at 47.50. Now we take a look at silver real quick since the bell is ringing. And again, the cluster of the chart is the cluster of the chart. I'm just going to, try to zoom in and see if we can see, but we could look at SLV, which is the stock, or I could probably list some other silver contract, and maybe that would show. J6 is April 26. Let's look at that. And that chart should be blank, but it just opened. So, /SI, Silva. Okay, let's do SLV without all the markups. Silver again, crossing 47.50. Okay, so here you are. SLV, I'm looking for 39.75, and it's $43 right now. It's not that far. It's just, $3-4. And gold is rolling over tonight, 39.88. Silver is down at 47.5, breaking some new lows overnight. So these are what Andy Scheckman says are the overnight players that dump into the market. See, right here. This is a key signal. We could get a bounce. It could bounce off of this and go up, but I think we're on the back side of the mountain, not the front side. And with the TSI moving below price, that is kind of ominous. 47.50. Didn't this happen in one of the other videos? I think so. So, all right. Let's look at gold. Gold's been relatively stronger. GC. Okay, this is the gold contract. Little less rollover nature here. So to me, gold looks fairly stable overall. I mean, everybody's buying it. All the big money. And then Jack mentioned we looked at wheat the other day. Here's the wheat, W-E-A-T ETF, which, let's make it big. And let's take out that background. Those are the intraday sessions where it's gray. Oops, I want to do style. Okay, turn off, highlight extended hours. That looks a little better. So here we go on wheat. First thing we want to look at is the 3-year weekly. I mean, you have a nice long decline over the years. We could even go longer and see weeks or wheat in the monthly. It looks like a very sick short ETF that's gone against the market. I think this is just a depletion based on how this ETF works. So my thought would be at least, maybe a bounce in here. But if we go back to the 4-hour, remember that one looked way overbought? Well, based on this here, wheat is creeping its way upwards. And this is the Tikurum Wheat ETF, which probably has a pretty high expense fee. So maybe wheat is something to look at. 47.50 on silver. Also, soybeans were mentioned. My beloved AGQ. This is the one I'm going to go after when this thing goes out. That's the 1 hour. I'm going to go to my 364 hour. And I can't even see. This is the wrong chart. So let's go back. AGQ. Right. GDX. AGQ. So gold is stronger relative to silver. And here's AGQ. And I would say that this target right here is 77.11, and we're really close to it, or we've actually passed it. Let me activate this one. Yep, 77.11 is a pretty strong ABC. That's A, B to a target, C back to this horizontal resistance area. So we're at that target. If we draw it over here, all right, I'm going to get rid of these. And well, let's see, this is the lower target, 67 to 65 zone for AGQ. So I want to draw a new measurement. I'm going to go from this top here down to this low here, and to that one brings us down here to 65, that zone. But if I do the big ABC from here all the way down to here, all the way back up here, the potential for 52. Now, I think it's unlikely because that's kind of counting one full leg. Another way to look at it, and that's interesting too, that this is the 4 hour also wanting to cross downwards. And the key signal to that 4 hour was, or is, the 2 hour chart is crossed over. The 1 hour chart, where's my 1 hour? Here it is, 5-day 1 hour. The 1 hour chart crossed, let's see, Friday. All right, so I'm pretty bearish. Maybe Jack thinks that this full moon will be a low or a high or something like that, but no, this is going to take some time. Okay, this is going to take some time to get these to resolve downward and get this RSI back down in here, down below 30. That's a 4 hour. So that's about all I have. I'm trying to keep these pretty short. I'm going to share these with some of the people I follow and see what they think about my little system, the true TSI system. These are some of the gold stocks. Take a quick look. There's JNUG down from 200 down to 135. It's probably going to could have a 50% haircut if we really get in a bad way here. I don't think so though. Wheat and precious metals, WPM, R Gold, NFGC just broke. They have a lot of stuff over in Ontario, I think. So what I'm doing right now is just nibbling around. I think J-Dust may be a good buy here for a trade. 468. The low was 350s. You've only missed a buck or so. And that's 2x leveraged on the junior gold stocks double short. I think, yeah, bear 2x short. So looking at a 1 year, it's pretty pitiful, but you can get something like this taking place. Got to be very nimble to do that, though. You got to watch your P's and Q's. If you have a small amount of money and you want to take a shot here, let's look at the ABC and see what it could do. So this is the ABC. I first learned about this from Rick Ackerman in Boulder, Colorado, way back in the 04 or so, when I was just coming off all of the losses in the dot-com bubble. I was quite angry, discovered gold in 2004, and finally made a bunch back, and made basically 10x one of my accounts from like 04 to 011, and took that money, threw it into a ATM deal, and made a bunch there, and got lucky with a small business. But so here we have JDST 603. So that's 468 to $6 potential. Not a multiple dollar trade, but worthy. We can look at Nugget that way too. Oops, JNug. I have made money in these things over the years in the past, when it was a pain in the butt trading gold stocks. No, JNug is up. JDust, I want just dust. Direction daily. All right, let's do the ABC on that. We'll chart this one to there, down to there, and we'll take a look and say that we've got $11 to $15 on that one. So as always, you want to keep your stop losses tight. Everybody's stops are going to be right below here. So you've got a current price of $12.01, and say you're risking $1 to make 4 or 5. And let's say to make 3. I think that's possible, and it sure will be juicy when I start buying in there. Okay, that's it. 14 more minutes, and we're out of here. Have a great evening, great morning, and love your family and love your friends. Take care.